What's up, guys? It's New Year's Day, brand new year, and I got a couple new things to put in my truck. Got these for Christmas actually. So if you remember my last video, me and my brother Philip were in his brand new Tacoma. We put in some LED lights and we put in that little seat back organizer. And I actually got these for Christmas. He got these for me. So this first piece here, this is the trim that goes around the cup holder in the center console. If you remember from any of my previous videos, I had just taken the chrome one that was in the truck, painted it black. And so anyway, I kind of wanted this piece, but I wasn't going to buy it because it really wasn't that big of a deal. But since I got it for a present, that makes it that much cooler. And it's got these little notches, hopefully the camera will kind of pick up, and that just matches all of the Meso Customs stuff. So I did the start button trim and the four-wheel drive trim, and so it has these same kind of little indentations around it. So that's going to look really cool inside there. And the one I really wanted was the vent ring kit. Okay, so this is just going to replace the chrome rings that go around the vents in the truck with these. So I'm going to go show you how to tear everything apart and put it back together. Okay guys, so we're out in the truck. We're going to go with the vents first. I'm going to take everything out, and then I'm actually going to put it together inside my house because I think the lighting will be a little better and it'll be a little bit easier to work on. But first what we're going to do is we're going to remove this piece right here. So basically all you got to do is grab it, pull it off, and it sounds so horrible every time you pull these things out. Let's see here, I'll be gentle, there we go, just like that. So that's one. Okay, so now we're over here. This is on the left of the driver's side here, over by the door, so we're just gonna grab it. You can kind of feel like a little beveled edge here. Ooh, sounds horrible again, but just kind of gotta grab it, there we go. Pop that out, and then this one actually connects all the way over here. Very gently pop this down. There we go. And I'm gonna drop the steering wheel a little bit. And we are out. Okay guys, so when I pulled that piece out, it goes all the way around this cluster right here, okay? And it just unsnaps, no big deal. But there's these little kind of silicone bumpers, and they basically just rest on that trim piece, I guess to keep this kind of protected. So no big deal, but when they fall out, when they pop out, they may fall, so you want to make sure you grab them. Mine did, so I just popped them back in place, and then whenever I snap it back in, that'll be there protected. I also think while I have this off, I'm just going to go through and clean this up a little bit because it's a little nasty, and I've got the full glass part exposed here, so it'll be easy to clean. Let's move on. Okay guys, so for this passenger side vent, this one's a little bit more tricky because it doesn't have anything big that you can really grab and pull out. I thought about grabbing it from here, but I'm afraid I was gonna rough it up a little too much. So all I did, I just took a screwdriver and kind of eased it back in here, just so I could kind of get behind it a little bit. You want to be gentle, Probably better if you had like an interior trim tool. Let's see here. So I'm just gonna kind of loosen it up a little bit. Big thing, you don't want to like scar up your plastic, And I'm gonna let my wife kind of pan around the side here. I've already got this one kind of popped out, okay? What you want to do is really carefully get behind it. I just took a screwdriver, like a flathead screwdriver, and I got it kind of even on all sides and then pulled it out. It was really tough, and actually it was so hard to pop out. It popped out and then it like rolled down the driveway a little bit here. So I got a couple little rough edges on mine now. But anyway, still it's nothing too bad. You probably won't see, but anyway, that one, be careful with it. Not too hard, but still it's a little hard to get out of there, so. Okay guys, then finally, to get to this piece, it has to be popped out from the back. So we're gonna take this whole piece out. Now, if you remember the video where I did the shift knob, this is a really simple thing to do. Basically, you just unscrew your shift knob. Now, if you've got a normal Tacoma shift knob, yours has a plastic collar that you would pop down. Mine doesn't have that now because I've got this 4Runner knob on there. So basically, you get that all nice and loosened up here. You got to start back at your little center console. I'm going to remove my little tray, and you got basically just got to pop it out from here. Let's see here. There we go. So that pops up. And then you basically just lift it out. And then what you got to do, come down here. There's a plug-in down here that plugs into the shifter for the little lights and stuff. So like when you put it in gear, it lights up and everything. So you just pop that little plug, it's just a little tab you push in, free it. Just kind of got to twist it out of here. Now the hardest part is the emergency brake boot. You just kind of got to give it a good pull to get it off. All right, that's it. Let's go inside. Okay guys, so I'm gonna start with this passenger side one. I've just got a little screwdriver, and I've already broken this free, but you've got a few little clips on the sides, and that'll let the vent come out. You probably don't necessarily have to do this, but I think the reason it's helpful is because it exposes how the chrome piece is held in. You've almost got it like, it's almost like glued in or something, like they've melted it into place, plus it's got a few little clips. So what I'm gonna do is take a pair of side cutters. I'm actually gonna try to just kind of cut these little plastic things. These are probably overkill, to be honest with you. It's the smallest pair I've got though, so let's see. I'm just trying to break that little kind of plastic bubble. So what I had to do is off camera, I just got kind of up close so I could see what I was doing a little better. I took these side cutters and I just kind of broke all the little like plastic welds, you know, like where it's melted in there. And then there's these little chrome clips, and I just took some little needle nose pliers. Well, these aren't little needle nose, but took some needle nose pliers and I just kind of smashed all those little clips. Then I just took my little tiny screwdriver and went around and popped this out. So now, let's see here. Still a little bit tough to dig out of there. All right, so now we've got that free, okay? And so what we'll do on the back here, there's actually a little arrow that marks it for top. And I don't know if that's gonna show up in the video or not, so if not, no big deal. But basically, you got three big main parts where those little chrome clips are. So we're just gonna take and flip that over. We're gonna line those up with the new Meso Customs one. And we're just gonna shove those in there. It just kind of snaps into place. They just kind of lock in, and boom. Now it's a lot of black, so I don't know how good it'll show up on the camera because it's not a lot of contrast, but that looks killer. So now what we're gonna do, we're just gonna repeat that whole thing for these vents. So I'm gonna flip it over, show you guys what I did here. There's these little clips. I'm just gonna release the little clips. Now there's one more we're gonna release right. Just trying to be gentle so we don't break anything. Okay. So now we'll take the vent out. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep these together as they were. All right, so we don't mess anything up. Set this one down here. And we're just gonna do that same process again. We're gonna take and break these little plastic welds. Now I'm just gonna break these little chrome clips. And you're not gonna reuse these things. I don't think there's any way to get these out and reuse them. And why would you want to, you know? So the whole point was to replace them. So pop those out. Alright, let's flip it over and we'll see if we can pry it out. So all I did to pry, let me get this out of the way. The only thing I did to pry the other one out, I just got in with my screwdriver behind it, started lifting out. This one's actually coming out pretty decent. I'm trying to be careful because you don't want to scar up the, you know, around here. If you damage the chrome part, you know, no big deal because you're replacing it anyway. There it is, popped right out. So there's that. Now we'll grab us another. And they come packaged so nicely. Meso always does such a good job putting stuff together. So this nice heavy foam. So we'll pull that out. And let's see here. Looks like we got, yep, we're just gonna line up right here. Start clipping it in. Make sure it all snaps in good. Alright. Okay guys, so one thing I realized after I started putting them in, they've got little markings, and I doubt it'll show up on the camera, but basically this arrow says 1, 3, and 4, and there's an arrow down here that says 2. And then the box actually shows you, kind of how they're numbered. Number 1 would be the driver's side left vent, the closest one to the window, and then number 2 is going to be the one on the right side beside the radio. 3 will be on the other side of the radio. 4 is the one all the way over on the passenger side. But basically the reason you turn them that way is because the little holes are turned differently. So it's pretty smart. Meso Customs thinks of everything. I just didn't see that before I did that. And then another thing I realized, you want to make sure you dig out all the remaining pieces of those little pegs that had like the kind of glue that's heated in there, because it pushes the rings off. So basically you just line it up based on what the marking says on the back. So number 1 points upward, and then you just push them in place. And then everything kind of drops in, and they've got like little, almost like little teeth or something on the back that kind of lets them slide through the little hole and then kind of lock into place. Now for this part, this is the bottom side of the cup holder right here, okay? There's a few little clips, alright, and then just the way this thing's made, it's not gonna let you see it too good, but I'm just taking a tiny little flathead so I can get in there good, and I'm just popping it loose. Since you're replacing this one, it's not so big of a deal if you break it now, I guess. So anyway, we'll pop those clips out and then we'll flip it over and we'll take it out. Okay, so once you get the little clips popped from the back, it basically just lifts out. You're gonna set the new one in place. So side by side, not that it's drastically different, but I think this one will still look better. So just line it up. Just kind of start pushing it in. And we're ready to put it back in the truck. Before we put all this back together, I got a little bit of glass cleaner on a microfiber. I'm just gonna clean this really good around the edges where you normally wouldn't be able to reach since it's all open. Just gonna slide it down over the steering wheel. It's a little bit of a tight fit. Squeeze it down here. Just try to be careful, don't want to scratch anything up or beat anything up. Looks like that's about right. So start pushing everything back into place. Alright, everything goes in, and now we got our nice black trim ring. Much better. Alright, let's move on over to the radio side. Alright guys, so for the radio, real simple. Just gonna drop it in place. And I went ahead while I had this off and cleaned around the radio so it didn't have any nasty, stuff around it. That just snaps in. Now we're gonna come over to the passenger side vent. Alright, this one's just gonna drop back in place. Just make sure it's kind of got these little notches. You'll see the notches right there. Just gonna put those back in. And it's a little bit, it's probably the tightest one, but there. Okay guys, so all we're gonna do with this one is kind of maneuver it into position. I'm probably destroying the camera shots here. One thing I did, where I pulled this out, I went ahead and pulled the boot back out for the emergency brake, that way it'll just slide into place. And we just kind of want to fish all this back in. Now we're gonna reach down in here. We got to connect our little plastic piece here for our lights, our little electronics piece. And there's a little clip right here on the side. That's just going to clip into place. Very easy. Nothing crazy going on. Make sure your boot don't get snagged on the little shifter post there. Just pull that down. Make sure all your plastic pieces are lining up good. Okay. Sometimes on the sides it'll get a little bit out of line, so you just make sure it lines up everywhere. And then finally, pull this down. Well, not quite finally, next to finally. Pull the shifter, or the emergency brake boot down, kind of get it into position. And then we'll put our knob back on. Again, if you didn't do this mod like I did, you'd just have a collar, you'd screw this down, it would pop into place. Mine, I just slide it in, boot, tighten it up, and I'm done.